You know, the other night I was watching something that I very rarely do. I was watching the BET Awards Sunday night. They were having also a tribute to Prince. And I was watching different parts and turning away because, like I said, I very rarely get into that. But Jesse Williams stole the show. I mean, he took his career in hand because we're not talking about some superstar, some worldwide Will Smith or something, or whatever, Denzel Washington or whatever, Samuel L. Jackson. He took Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy, took his career in his hand, and I mean, he went off, and I mean, it was very encouraging. And I mean, he was speaking truths. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everybody know we have a problem in the black community, but see, for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. For every problem, there's a cause. And like I said, me personally, I mean, Marcus Garvey said it, Malcolm X said it, and now more and more people are saying it. Everything that we've marched for, man, I mean, not we, because my grandfather didn't believe in any of it. The Civil Rights Bill, the greatest period of African American economic wealth was between World War II and, ironically, up until the time when the Civil Rights Bill was signed. Now, everybody else is using the Civil Rights. Well, that's something, that's a subject for another vid. But anyway, Jesse Williams went off, and I mean, it was encouraging. And he said, now, he said, now we have been looking at the data. I'm just going to be quick. And we know that police somehow manage to de escalate, disarm, and not kill white people every day. So, what's going to happen is we are going to have equal rights and justice in our own country, or we will reconstruct mm, their function and ours. Now, where I grew up, I've known police that, well, in our neighborhoods, they knew black people, nobody would listen to black people or people of color. And I know plenty of the people had cops selling for them. I mean, the cops had people selling for them. I know people who did time in prison, schoolmates that didn't do a doggone thing. One was a karate expert. They locked him up, but he never opened his mouth. Which, I mean, years for nothing. And the fella, he was over close to 6 foot tall, and the person who did it was short, brown, and he wasn't even a full African American. He was East Indian, half East Indian. And one was brown skin, and the other was almost chestnut color. Well, anyway, more of a darker skin. And I mean, it was just ridiculous. And I mean, things like this and went all over. And we've seen different spots that were open. And we've seen people I can get you many people right here to verify. Even I myself was profiled. But there was a difference with me. See, my first neighbors on the other side were Italian. But anyway, getting back to it, he said it's kind of basic mathematics. The more we learn about who we are and how we got here, the more we will mobilize. See, you have to know a truth. See, a lot of people, they were marching for truth. And one thing we had then that we don't have now, and that proportion is unity. I mean, but I admire Dr. King, and he did a lot of good work. Don't get me wrong. But he said, I have a dream today, and that's turned into a nightmare. But that's what everybody shoved down your throat. But that's not what he was saying. He was saying economic equality. The same thing Marcus Garvey was saying. The same thing Malcolm X was saying. Education does not make black people or any other person of color equal. That's just not money. It takes money. True, you have to be educated. But you're thinking that you're going to march up and down to get. Let me tell you something. You have over 95 million people that are unemployed in America. I'll tell you, it's so bad, and I'm going to get back to it. Certain students in different states have multiple class action suits against law school for manipulating the statistics on all these graduates are all placed in jobs, and a lot of them, even as far out as Columbia, South Carolina, they're waiting tables in restaurants. And a lot of them are being sued right now because these people, and I'm not even talking about black people, I'm talking about white people as well. I forgot one young lady named, she started a suit and got all the people in that school that graduated that can't even get a job, and taking them to court in class action suits for lying. Manipulating the statistics. So if you have that many people, quite naturally, in some black communities, you have over 51% unemployment, and these are just men alone. And African American youth are just ridiculous at the unemployment rate. So you're going to eat, so you have to do something to survive, and that's what's so tragic. They're doing it. This middle class is disappearing, white and black. We have people in power. Remember, most politicians are full of crap as a constipated elephant. That's a fact. They're liars and thieves. The whole place is on for America has turned into a company, a business. But anyway, getting back. And he said, let's get a couple of things straight. Just a little side note. The burden of the brutalized is not to comfort the bystander. That's not our job. All right, stop with all that. If you have a critique for the resistance, for our resistance, then you better have an established record of critique of our oppression. If you have no interest in our equal rights for that of black Americans, sit down. In other words, keep your mouth shut. I mean, it was really exhilarating. The speech was phenomenal. He didn't bat an eye. He didn't smile. He didn't crack a joke. He didn't do anything. He just went up there and said what was on his heart. You could tell the passion for civil rights in it. But here goes the thing, America. Black Americans are being buried under a constant, unending stream of immigrants. And you want to know what's so crazy about it? White people are too. Pretty soon you're going to be outnumbered. And it's not blacks that's doing that. And not one immigrant is coming here to be your friend, African Americans. Do you understand that? The whole country's in trouble. America's over $19.1 trillion in debt. Even Ron Paul said it, and Warren Buffett, the whole place is running off of credit. This is what he said. We've been floating this country on credit for centuries. We're done watching and waiting while this intervention called whiteness uses and abuses us, burying black people out of sight and out of mind while extracting our culture, our dollars, our entertainment like oil. Black gold, ghettoizing and demanding our creations, then stealing them, gentrifying our genius and then trying us on like costumes before discarding our bodies like rinds of strange fruit. I mean, it was phenomenal, the speech was exhilarating. But I just want to tell you something. And white America too. You're following right behind us. Don't think yourself. It's the elite. It's these. You have to understand. This country is owned by the central banks. Let's face a fact. Do you understand that? Gone are the days of old when people loved Reagan or people love. Let me tell you something. The Democratic and the Republicans are just different sides of the same coin. At least before 20 and 30 years ago, these guys didn't agree on the policies, but they sat down and took time, they arranged meetings to get to know each other and talk over the policies. These guys here are not even talking to each other. The country is gone. You see how they're attacking Christianity. I'll tell you before, and this is my next one. They're going to kill Christians right here in America. But as far as getting back to Jesse Williams, he's right. Something has got to change. What we should have did. Now you have some people talk about total separation of the races. What we should have did, stayed to ourselves instead of marching up and down, but we didn't receive anything. Your neighbors are being gentrified. I'll be under gentrification, and they're pushing you out And here goes the thing. White people are being left behind now too. You are in trouble. Then you went and elected Obama twice. Do you understand me? This man ain't done nothing for black people. Hell, he took civil rights and did something else with it. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on Jesse Williams. I really admire this man. I really do. I mean, it was really encouraging. Sometimes you just get so. Let me tell you, a lot of blacks have the what they call the old blues, the first fire, the last fire, first fire blues. But now you're hardly even getting hired at all. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of white Americans also, but especially African Americans have it exceptionally hard because you're being buried. You were the number one minority group, now you're number two, and then you go. The nation fastest earners, of the top earners in the country are Asian. Black men are only 6.6% of the population, and we're depopulating steadily at a slow rate. Do you understand that? We have no time for foolishness. No time for give me this and that. We need our own businesses. We need to build our own communities. That's the only way, because if you don't have any businesses, you're going out of existence. God bless you, folks. Pray. We need prayer right now, Black America. And white America, you better pray too. Everybody. And be careful who you elect. These people here are dangerous, and they have ulterior motives. They're bought and paid for by these special interest groups. God bless, folks.